What if we've been dating our jobs this whole time and just never called it that? Now, stay with me because if you think about it, a lot of the same patterns show up. At the beginning, there's a pitch. They tell you about the culture, the growth, the vision. You show up polished for the interview. They do too. It feels a little like a first date where everything clicks. And then you say yes, you commit. But here's the problem. At some point in a healthy relationship, things usually get clearer, more secure, more mutual. You know where you stand. And I think a lot of people are realizing that work does not always work that way because people give a lot to their jobs, their time, their energy, their ideas, their flexibility, their care. And what they are often asking quietly is this still mutual? That's why I don't think burnout is always just about workload. Sometimes it's about what happens when the relationship with work starts feeling one sided. And when that happens, it usually shows up in recognizable ways. Sometimes it looks like breadcrumbing, just enough praise, just enough promise, just enough you're next to keep you invested. You're doing great. We see your potential. Let's revisit this next quarter. And somehow, nothing actually changes. No title change, no pay change, no real clarity. That's breadcrumbing. And it works because it's not nothing. It's just enough to keep you hopeful, not enough to make you feel secure. Sometimes it looks like ghosting. You ask for feedback, you ask about growth, you ask what the next step is, and suddenly things go quiet. The conversation gets pushed, the answer gets vague, the follow up never really happens. And now you're left trying to read the silence. But silence always says something. And over time, that changes how people show up. They stop asking, they stop offering more, they stop expecting clarity. Not because they stop caring, because they stopped believing the relationship was going to meet them in the same way. And sometimes it starts to feel like a workplace situationship. You're expected to act committed, to think long term, to take ownership, to go above and beyond. But nobody is clearly telling you what this is actually leading to. So now you're giving relationship level effort to something offering situationship level commitment. And that wears people down because eventually, when one side keeps carrying the relationship, something shifts. People pull back. They stop giving the extra thought, the extra energy, the extra yes. Not because they don't care, because they're protecting themselves. And I think this matters whether you're an employee or a leader. If you're an employee, here's the takeaway. Pay attention to patterns, not promises. One delayed conversation? That happens. A year of vague encouragement with no movement? That's a pattern. Ask direct questions. What does growth actually look like here? What needs to happen for this to move forward? Is there a real path or am I filling in the blanks myself? And if the relationship stays undefined for too long, believe that. If you're a leader, here's the part I think matters most. Clarity builds trust. You do not need perfect answers, but you do need honest ones. People can handle this isn't happening right now. Here's what needs to happen first. We don't have a timeline yet. What people struggle with is vagueness, mixed signals, delayed conversations, praise without follow through. If you want commitment from people, the relationship has to feel mutual. That means being clear, following through, and not treating someone's reliability as permission to keep asking for more. Because people can give a lot, but eventually they stop investing in relationships that only know how to take. And maybe that's the version of burnout we don't talk about enough. not just being overworked, but being in a relationship with work that stopped feeling mutual.